Hello, Dragon Ballers! It's Dokantaro, and today I am on the way to go see Dragon Ball Super Broly. Now, I'm a little late to the party, but still very excited. I don't know why I even wrote this down as a suggestion. I made a poll for you guys asking if you would like to see a vlog and a review, and you know, most of you voted for the vlog and the review, so here's the vlog. I have no idea why I suggested that, because I don't tend to do this, but hey, you know, you gotta stretch your limbs sometimes, and you know, you gotta test your limitations, you know, which is what this movie is all about. It's all about surpassing your limitations. Anyway, I know everything that happens pretty much except the end, because Japan doesn't really care about spoilers. So I'm wondering if maybe it's an hour and a half long, so I'm wondering, my one concern is that it might be a little bit boring at first, waiting for Gogeta to show up. But I think it'll be visually impressive enough that won't really matter that much. You know, I mean, as with all Dragon Ball fights, you know they can get stronger and stuff, so it's, you know, we're all used to that by now. But yeah, still very excited. That's my initial first impressions based on all the trailers that I've seen. So very cool stuff. Also, I don't know how well you can hear that, but this music is from some people that I know through a person that I know. Yeah, that makes sense. And you can find their music in the link in the description. And if we don't have a link, I'll just cut this part out. Right? Yeah. All right. That's gonna be it. Before we head off to the movie theater, though, we are going to the movie theater, but there's actually an ice sculpting thing where one of our friends is going to be there doing some stuff. So we're going to go visit with her for a couple hours before the movie, because the movie isn't till 5:30, and it's 2:30 now. So we're going to have fun with them for a couple of hours. I'll see you when we get there. Trying not to film other people's children's faces is very difficult. Ooh. Look at this one, though. Can you believe it? Wow. Alright, I don't see any Gokus. Let's see if we can find an ice Goku. Or an ice Shenron. You would get that joke if you watched Dragon Ball GT. I don't recommend it. Oh, it is. Oh, yeah. He's currently in construction. Yeah, okay, that's what I'm talking about. Let's see what else we got here. Wow. That's one big dog. It's the biggest puppy I've ever seen. And this is the pretty one. Wow. Look at the detail. That's amazing. We got Aquaman under construction. Wacky waving inflatable arm plant tube man. Hey! Can you believe this guy's made out of pure ice? It's a moth. It's a butterfly. It's a dragon.
It's a fluttering fly.
It's just a fly. Aw, heck. What's that he's using? A grinder? Or is it like a power sander of some sort? Hell yeah. That's pretty awesome. It's gonna look like this. That's the finished. Well, it's gonna be a lot of cuts.
Yeah.
There's an Elsa and an Anna back there. I think the cold is really bothering Elsa. Hey, thanks for that joke, babe. That's a really good one. That's better. Alright, so we got the dragon. He's called Nightmare. I'm gonna call him Shenlong. We got a dragon. There's a ball of ice. Now all we need is a super. So this dude's using a torch, and that's to get all of the, like, rough stuff off, and that's what makes them look all smooth and stuff, because when they're carving it, it gets all, like, rough looking. So think of this as kind of like sanding or polishing.
Well, Aquaman. Was that
it's definitely Aquaman.
It's Aquaman.
Because Aquaman's playing, I've decided, I know it's not Aquaman, but I've decided it has to be Aquaman.
That makes perfect sense.
Either that or it's the guy from SpongeBob. Right? Very cool. We got the tongue coming in here.
They call them dry ice bombs.
Yeah. Like when we were kids. We'll have to check on him shortly.
Shutters of my aunt's house was the last time we ever were.
This is awesome.
Guys, thanks. I wish we could have got more stuff for you, but glad you know.
Hey, no, I'm glad you're here, enjoying yourself.
Now. You can't see because it's a screen, but that says Dragon Ball Super BROLY on it. Alright, this is it.
Coca-Cola Company makes shore bricks with actual coconuts.
Thanks for coming with me to this thing.
Organically.
I forgot what this was to say, babe.
Water with added minerals for taste.
What the fuck? That's the latest intro I think I've ever done. But, yeah. I am disappointed. I am actually disappointed. Not by a lot. Not by a lot. But let me be clear on a couple of things. I went into this movie expecting that it was going to be a visual spectacle. It was going to look really good, and it did. For the most part. I went into this thinking that the story was going to be better than that of the original BROLY origin. It was. I went into this thinking that the Gogeta versus BROLY fight was going to be the most epic thing we've ever seen in Dragon Ball. It almost was. But one thing really ruined that. And we'll get into that because we're not doing spoilers right now. I will let you know when we discuss spoilers if you still haven't seen the movie for whatever reason. Also, I'm a fan of the sub. I watched it dubbed in the theaters because it's not available legally to me subbed, and I support the official release. That's just kind of how I roll, you know. So those are you know, just some things I wanted to get out of the way at first. Now, the voice acting, as far as a guy who doesn't really like the Funimation dub as much as the sub, was fine. My main issue is Sean Schemmel's Goku. I've never liked that voice for Goku. It's just a personal preference, and I'm not going to hold that against the film because I know a lot of people love Sean Schemmel's voice. So that just kind of is what it is. Great to see Chris Ayres back. Great to see Vic Mignogna back. I could never pronounce his name. They're great. They do a great job as far as voice casting. Monica Rial, names. Does a great job as Bulma, of course, as always. And the entire voice cast, you know, Chris Sabat and all of them,
they do a very serviceable at worst job. You know, a lot of times they're great. You know, and Sean does a good job too. So that's all the English dub stuff. It's all you know, it's all gravy. It's all good. From a person who prefers the sub, the English dub is fine. If you're someone who prefers the sub and you're not going to see this movie because it's only out in the dub in your country or, you know, wherever, it's still worth seeing. The English dub doesn't ruin it. Seeing it on the big screen is definitely the way to go. I would recommend seeing this movie to any fan of Dragon Ball at all. You know, it's like $20 to go see a movie and grab some popcorn and a drink or whatever. Actually, if you add in a drink, I think it's then $30. But wait, you know, it's something I think every Dragon Ball fan should do. It is a really great experience. I wouldn't call it a great movie, but it's a great experience. So, still no spoilers, but I am going to talk a little bit about story. This is all stuff that we've seen in trailers. If you haven't looked at any trailers whatsoever, I don't know why you wouldn't, but I am going to mention things that have been seen in trailers, and then things that haven't been seen in trailers are going to be spoilers. So the way it starts is it kind of you Broly and Vegeta and Goku's origins. They changed Goku's origin to the Dragon Ball Minus version as opposed to the episode of Bardock version, which I've always preferred the episode of Bardock to Minus since Minus came out. I really don't like that interpretation of Bardock at all. The story legend of Bardock was so much better, and they could have cut that entire section out. Because we all know how Goku came to Earth, but then showing Vegeta and Broly and how they survived the explosion, you know, yeah, you know, like maybe we needed that. Because the parallels are between Vegeta and Broly in this movie. They cut to 3 years later for Goku, so they didn't even really need to add that part in at all, So. You know, I don't like that. It's not great. Frieza's first form coloring did throw me off a bit, but it is the original coloring from the manga, so I can't be too mad at it. I just grew attached to the way he was colored in the anime. And a lot of times, Toriyama's coloring is, you know, in my opinion, not as good as it is in the anime. For example, Ultra Trunks, red hair. Did not like that a whole lot. Sorry, it just is what it is. But besides that, it starts off just looking great. There's a lot of CGI kind of stuff going on, especially with the ships, that some of it blends in really decently. Some of it doesn't blend in very well at all. Mostly towards the end, the CG kind of gets a little bit stupid, but in the very beginning, it looks really nice. So the origin story for Vegeta and Broly is cool. It's much better than the origin story told in the original Broly movie. This is a much better, more fleshed out, more humanized story of, you know, where Paragus is coming from, where King Vegeta is coming from, and why Vegeta had a different fate than Broly, and all of that kind of stuff. So very cool stuff there. The Dragon Ball Minus Bardock, I'll never like. But then roll title screen, all that kind of stuff, and we get Vegeta and Goku training to the background score of an orchestral Chala Head Chala, the famous opening. So famous that it's the only opening that Team 4 Star ever uses in Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and that was really cool to see and hear. We are going to talk about this a little more, but a good soundtrack should blend in, but when it's an homage to something, it, you know, that's when I'm okay with it being like, oh cool, yeah, that's cool. So that was really well animated. The slice of life parts were kind of loosely animated. As soon as they show up to the whole the BROLY fight, you know, Frieza and BROLY team up. I think that's been obvious in the trailers that he's coming out of Frieza's ship and stuff. It switches immediately to that Takahashi, hard lined, really heavy shading style, and it looks really great. But then somewhere along the way, it switches back to a more loose sort of animation style that is way too contrasting for such a quick switch, which is something that we've all been a little bit concerned about. It wasn't as jarring as it was in the trailers, to be perfectly honest, but it is pretty jarring to see the animation change in quality. Not in quality, but in style so much. They're both great animators, but their styles are totally different from each other. So like, when you've got really close-up shots of Vegeta with 4 different colors for shading, you've got like a really dark and then like a highlight in certain spots, and then you switch to, I believe it's Shintani who does the, I could be wrong, you can feel free to correct me in the comment section, but he does the really light shading. When it switches to that, it's just so jarring. So that's one problem that I had with it. A really cool thing is how Broly is portrayed though. Before this fight and during this fight, the way he's portrayed, it gives him much more of a character, a much more human element to him, which I found really, really cool, and I liked that a lot. We'll talk about that more in detail later for spoilers and all that kind of stuff. So the battle goes about as you would expect, Vegeta and Goku go through their different forms. The transformations look really good. The angles for the fights look really good. The composition is fantastic. All the fight stuff looks amazing, absolutely amazing. Besides the jarring of Takahashi to Shintani or whoever, once again, not totally sure about that. From those two styles, the way they just, it's jarring. It is jarring. But once you get used to that and you get sucked back into the spectacle of it, everything looks great. I just wish that it was a little more consistent with animation. It gets to a point where animation gets really bad though. And we'll talk about that later. But there is one point in a slower part where the animation is terrible. Like, terrible. For a movie. Maybe for a regular episode of Dragon Ball Super, it's passable, but for a movie, it's awful. It's awful. Yeah, so then you got Gogeta and Broly. And I don't think this is a spoiler because we know that Gogeta and Broly fight at the end. That's been promoted multiple times. Gogeta and Broly. While they're fighting, which looks amazing, by the way, except for one part that's really stupid, and I'll explain that a little bit later. Two problems I had. They went through their transformations so quickly that it was like, Gogeta starts off in base, and Broly by this time is in Super Saiyan, and Gogeta goes to Super Saiyan, and that's cool and all that kind of stuff, but they go to blue and full power, or the green haired for Broly. They switch to these transformations like with nothing, no impact whatsoever. Like they just do it and we're just expecting it and we should just be ready for it. All the other transformations pretty much up to that point had been huge spectacles, which in my opinion, sometimes they dragged it out a little bit too much. With the screaming and stuff, like Goku shouldn't have to scream a whole bunch to power up just to Super Saiyan Blue. He does it all the time. And then a little bit later, Vegeta powers up to Super Saiyan Blue and just goes, ha! And he's there. So they could have taken those down a notch, and they could have made the actual final Gogeta Blue and full power Broly a little more epic. But it kind of wasn't. That being said, it's in the middle of a huge action sequence that's full of really interesting colors, really interesting dynamic shots. Once again, the composition on all of this is really, really good, really cool. But in the background, some people liked it. This is very divisive. Some people liked this and some people didn't. In the background, you've got this chanting. That's like, go Broly, go Broly, go Broly, go Broly, Gogeta, 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 go Broly. And it's the whole fight. It's the whole fight that you just have this in the background. And like I said earlier, a good soundtrack should rest in there so that you don't so much hear it, you feel it. You know, you shouldn't be like, oh, I can definitely hear the music. You shouldn't be focusing on the music. You should be focusing on what's happening in the movie. But like when it's that just blatant, when the music is just chanting their names, like I could see if like there was a team of people on Broly's side and a team of people on Gogeta's side in the movie and they were all chanting or whatever, that might make sense. But it's the score. It's the background music. And it just totally takes you out of the movie. It just completely just it's terrible. It ruined what visually, if you turned off the sound for that, for me, if the sound turned off, I'd be like, oh crap, where did the sound go? Oh well, I'm gonna go ahead and watch it anyway. I know what Dragon Ball Z sounds like. You know, I probably would have loved that. But because I heard that soundtrack, ruined it for me. I checked that's the music in the Japanese version. So it's not on the dub. It's so that ruined that whole fight scene for me. That really ruined it. Okay, spoiler time. If you have not seen this movie and you don't want to be spoiled, click off. I don't personally believe that spoilers ruin the movie, but I avoided as many spoilers as possible. I watched all the trailers, but avoided spoilers. So now we're gonna get into spoiler territory. One really bad thing is when Gogeta and Vegeta teleport to where Piccolo is to learn the fusion dance. That section is animated so poorly. Like the proportions are all off. Goku's chest looks like it's a big sphere at points. They just look so bad in that scene. They look terrible in comparison to the rest of the movie. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure in a regular Dragon Ball Super episode, Slice of Life part, it wouldn't look too bad. But compared to the rest of the movie where everything was a huge spectacle, this part just sucked. And during this time, Broly's fighting Frieza. And we're led to believe that while they do the skinny Gogeta and then they do the fat Gogeta, or you know, they fat Gogeta then the skinny Gogeta, little gimmick like they did with Gotenks in the series. When they did that, they had to refuse after 30 minutes. So we're led to believe that Frieza battled Broly for like an hour. You know, at a certain point it cuts back to the battle and Whis is now distracting Broly. He's not fighting him, but he's distracting him. But at the same time, with Whis just effortlessly dodging all of Broly's attacks, if he's involved, why doesn't he just do something? You know what I mean? Having Whis there just completely removes the whole, I mean, you know Gogeta's coming, but it just completely removes the whole element of, you know, of danger about Broly. And that's the main thing about Broly that's supposed to be really cool, is he's unhinged, he's dangerous. If Whis is there, first of all, he can do a do-over, he can reverse time by 3 minutes or whatever. He can do all of these, you know, he's obviously stronger than Broly, he can take him out in one hit probably pretty easily. It just, having Whis there just completely defeats the purpose. I also didn't like how Beerus was a babysitter for the whole movie. That's how they got rid of him. Just have them not there. Just have them not available. You know, I know they're beloved characters and all that kind of stuff. You can cut to them on Beerus's planet and have Beerus looking at this and say, well, you know what? Earth has really good food and all that kind of stuff, but honestly, if this is Earth's fate, I'm not going to stand in the way. That's not my job. And Whis will go, okay, sir. Yeah, because Whis respects what Beerus has to say. So that can be your way out. It doesn't, like, you don't have to have Whis there. You don't have to have Beerus. Oh, well, I'm watching Bola, so I can't, you know, whatever. Or Brawl. Let's be honest. Her name's Brawl. So I was expecting the story to be all right, just better than the original Broly movie. But it just got to a point that it was just so stupid at parts. It was so stupid at parts. But let's talk about good stuff for a little bit. Going back to the beginning, Broly and his father are, or Broly's vanquished to planet Vampa, which has like, or Vampa rather, which has like no chance of survival on it, but Broly still manages to survive. The little thing he wears around his waist is the ear of a giant monster that that he used to play with, and his dad said he can't play with it because, you know, he's supposed to be training to kill Prince Vegeta and all that kind of stuff. Paragus is really good in this movie. He's about the same as he was, you know, but he was a good character, but he's a little more ruthless now. He's got a shot collar for Broly that, like, you know, keeps him in check. Like, he's all about revenge. He doesn't care about Broly at all, and Broly is very respectful. He says, you shouldn't talk bad about my father because he's, you know, that's my dad. You know, it really humanizes him. He doesn't know any better. Like, it's kind of like he has like autism, or he's on the spectrum in some way. It really makes him like a really relatable character. Like, he's kind of socially, he's never had friends before. So his only friend was this giant monster whose ear got shot off, and he wears it around his waist to remind him of when he had a friend. It's sad. But it's really good. That's the good stuff. So Chilai, and honestly I forgot the other guy's name because like, he's nowhere near as important as Chilai. Chilai is a great character. She's amazing. Really compassionate, but also pretty like, you know, I do things the way I think they should be done, and there's no other way around it. She's a really compelling character. She stands up for Broly. She's the one who takes a shot collar away from Paragus. She's the one who tells Broly that, you know, he doesn't, she says, you don't really like fighting, do you? And he goes, no, not really. And she's like, you don't have to fight. And he's like, well, I gotta listen to my dad and that kind of stuff. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. I like that a lot. And also there's a part where Goku is fighting with Broly, and he says to him, I can sense that you're not like these other guys. You're not like Frieza and your father. You don't have to fight. You don't have to do this. But by this time, Broly's so far gone that he can't really relate to that. So the fight keeps going on. Keep this in mind, what Goku said. Keep this in mind. All right. At another point, Vegeta's about to blast Broly, and Goku thinks he's gonna kill him. And Goku says, Vegeta, wait, hold on. So, like, Goku's aware that Broly's not a monster, you know what I mean? Like, he's a monster, but he's not like a monster. It's just a monster. Keep this in mind. Keep this in mind, because we're gonna get a little bit pissy about it later. Okay, so in order to trigger Broly's Super Saiyan transformation, Frieza kills Paragus. That is so much better than Broly killing his dad because he's all raged out or whatever. Because he's so evil or whatever. Because he's the devil. Frieza goes, oh, Broly, look, your father has been hit by a stray energy beam from you guys' fight. And he freaks out and turns Super Saiyan. That was really cool. And it was a good way for Paragus to die. And I'm glad Paragus is dead. That guy is a jerk. He's an abusive father. He's a bad guy. He made poor little Broly fight. I mean, I realize Broly's huge, but like, he made poor Broly. Broly had a little pet friend monster thing. And he wouldn't even let him play with that. I think that was good training for him too. I think Paragus should have been like, well, he's training and getting stronger and learning how to fight and dodge, but he's also having fun. So everyone wins here. Douchebag. Anyway, so that's really cool. Okay, so when they become Gogeta, they're supposed to be Goku and Vegeta's brain, but they're beating up on Broly in a way that I believe they're trying to kill him as Gogeta. They're straight up trying to kill him. And Goku knows that he's not the monster that they're making him out to be. Maybe they weren't trying to kill him. Maybe they were just trying to beat him. But at the very end of the battle, he's shooting Kamehameha, and Chilai wishes Broly to safety back to planet Vampa, so he doesn't get blasted by the Kamehameha. Maybe she was more concerned than she should have been. Maybe Gogeta wasn't going for the kill. I don't know, but it kind of looked like it. I think they were more concerned about making the battle look really, really cool. But yeah, Broly survives. Broly survives, and I think that's cool, and we'll get to that in a second. In the middle of the battle between Gogeta and Broly, when they both reach their ultimate forms, they punch into a different dimension. And it looks cool, but it's stupid. And the whole time they're chanting Broly and Gogeta and Broly and Gogeta in the background, and it's taking you out of the moment. And then so when they do punch into a different dimension, you're like, yeah, right, because you're pulled out of the movie. You know, your sense of wonder is gone because you're sitting there listening to this stupid soundtrack. So when they punch into a different dimension, you're like, that's stupid. And it looks really cool. And then they punch back into reality or whatever. How does that even work? Like, they just blow through all of this stuff so fast. They could have cut the first part of it out by so much. They could have had Vegeta go through base form, Super Saiyan God, and then had Goku go right to Blue. As like obviously God isn't strong enough, so I'm gonna go right to Blue, and then have them fight for a bit, and then have Vegeta come in as Blue and have them combine, fight Broly together and all that kind of stuff. And then they could have had a lot more time to explain the crap that's happening on the screen in front of you. Like, they could have time to have Broly turn into, his full powered form and have a reference to Kayla or something like, oh, that's the like true power of a Saiyan that Vegeta was talking about in the Tournament of Power. They didn't. It's just all this big spectacle kind of fight, which looked really, really good, but the execution was really awful, and the soundtrack just completely took me out of the movie. So real unfortunate. So cut to after Broly is wished off planet. In the beginning, there's something really funny with the Dragon Balls. Bulma wants the Dragon Balls so she can look 5 years younger. And Goku says, why not 10 years, while you're at it? And she goes, well, because then people will really notice, and they'll ask me where I got my plastic surgery, and I don't want that. And it's kind of a funny little gag. And then Frieza's collecting the Dragon Balls. And the guy's like, what are you going to wish for? And he goes, I want to be 5 centimeters taller. The guy's like, why not just use your second form when you're really tall? And he's like, because I want to be tall in this form. I want to be a little tiny bit taller. I'm sick of being so short. He's like, but 5 centimeters is enough because like no one will really notice. So that was really funny. That was really good. Also, Goku breathing on the spaceship with his nose out. That was good too. Like they were legitimately funny moments, and they were legitimately touching moments. I didn't cry. Toriyama told me I was going to cry in the first 30 minutes. I didn't cry at all. I don't care about those Saiyans. They mean nothing to me. The part where I felt the most emotional, I think, was when Chilai was talking to Broly and saying, "You don't really like to fight, do you?" That was really touching. That he had made a friend and stuff. So Chilai and the little orange dude and Broly are now on planet Vampa, and they're gonna live there. They've decided. Goku instant transmissions there, and they're all like, "Hey, stay away from him, stay away from him." And Goku's like, "No, I'm not here to fight. I'm here to bring you guys. I've got these little capsules that Bulma gave me." And he's got like a little house for them. He's got food supplies, like all kinds of stuff. And he says, "I'll come back and visit every now and then. I'll leave. I'll go about my business. But I just want you guys to know that I would like to see Broly again because I want to fight him some more." And Broly smiles at that. Like, he's finally feeling that Saiyan blood. He's like, "Yeah, fighting is, if it's not for vengeance, fighting itself is fun. And this is how this guy makes friends." So Broly's like, "I have a friend." I've got Chilai, I've got little orange dude, and I've got Goku. But he's like, cool. And he's happy, and he's content with that. He's cool with living on planet Vampa. That's all he's known. And he's got his friends with him now. And now he's got a house, and he's got better food, and he's got water, and all that kind of stuff. And Goku basically just gave him all this stuff. Like, here you go, man. I know you're not a bad guy. You know, let's box sometime. That was fun. And then he heads out, and he goes, and they go, what's your name? And he goes, oh, it's Son Goku. Or rather, in the dub, he goes, it's Goku. But he turns to Broly and he says, oh, Broly, you can call me Kakarot. And then he leaves. And this whole time I'm thinking, like, are they replacing Vegeta? Are they just replacing Vegeta? And then he said, you can call me Kakarot. I'm like, they are replacing Vegeta. Like, I don't know. I thought it was funny. I thought it was a little out of character for Goku to tell Broly to call him Kakarot, but I also think that was an homage to Broly screaming Kakarot throughout the entire movie in the original. So, I don't know. Where will Broly come into play in the future of Dragon Ball Super? Who knows? I think they're gonna leave that open to maybe if they need him to show up at some point, he will. But problems moving forward now. Vegeta and Goku know the fusion dance. Anytime they're in peril, if there's Supreme Kai nearby, they've got earrings. If there isn't, they've got the fusion technique. They can become Gogeta at any time now. So why wouldn't they if they're ever in any sort of struggle at all? Because this is canon now. This is part of the main continuity of Dragon Ball Super. So they got rid of Ultra Instinct just fine by saying, oh, I can't tap into it anymore. I don't know. But why not Gogeta? Like, forever. Is Vegeta gonna say, like, oh, we can't risk it because if we turn into the fat version, we're definitely gonna lose? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's why they included that. If they do talk about that later, then maybe I'll forgive that scene. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know this is a very long one. And it's got all kinds of stuff going on in the vlog in the beginning and all that kind of stuff. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below about not just the movie, but also the vlog part if you watched that. Let me know if you want to see more stuff like that. Sometimes I do fun things, and I think you guys might enjoy that a little bit. I don't know. Let me know all this stuff down in the comment section. Let's have a discussion, and let's try to keep it civil. I know, like, I spoke very adamantly about the things that I hated about this, but let's not hate on each other's opinions. Let's respect each other's opinions, crap on the show, or kiss the show's ass all you want. Crap on the movie, kiss the movie's ass all you want. Just be good to each other. Everyone's got different opinions. You can also feel free to crap on me all you want. Please don't kiss my ass. I do not like it. But feel free to crap on me. I don't care. I'm on the internet. I have people telling me I look like Peter Dinklage like once a week. So it's whatever. I'm not even insulted. That man is a very successful man. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. There will probably be more stuff like this, more just Dragon Ball related things, not just, you know, the Dokkan Battle things. I'm trying to, you know, branch out a little bit, you know, go back to talking about more Dragon Ball things than just Dokkan Battle. So expect more of that, or if you're not into that, just let me know in the comment section below. This video's stupid, I don't like it, stick to Dokkan, you tard. Whatever you want to say. I don't want to say the whole word because it's really offensive now. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I love each and every one of you tiny little goofballs. I'll catch you on the next one.